Uh, what was America like growing up for you?
Mm. Yeah, so when you're growing up, your world's about as big as your block and your family.
Sure.
I was really fortunate. The more I've reflected and started my own family and just navigated the world, I've realized just how blessed my upbringing was.
Mm,
We moved around when I was really young, but I spent my formative years basically, third grade on in Lindenhurst and Antioch, Illinois, just right on the northern border in Lake County.
mm,
And two parents in my household. I never like for one day, questioned whether I was unconditionally loved or not, which the older I get, the more I realize just like how foundationally incredible that is.
yeah.
Um, Great schools, safe places to play, green space. We never really wanted for anything. Like I had a really, really good life, big extended families that were semi-local.
Mm,
People for the most part, really supported one another in my family. And uh, yeah, I had a really, positive self view, so uh, really, really good foundation. And so, you kind of normalize your experience and think, well, this is kind of how it is for most,
mm,
and the older I got and the more my horizons expanded, I realized that wasn't the case,
sure.
and I think too, like the degree to which it wasn't the case has been like even still is pretty shocking to me. My hometown, incredibly homogenous. I think when I was growing up, it was like 98% white.
Mm,
And it's one of those things that I understand the history of how a lot of this has happened now, and those were a multitude of small decisions by people before I was born and my parents were around, but it really created for me a very narrow view of the world and just my experience and like the different kind of takes on what is America and what are things like, for other people. So I was pretty ignorant, and I use that, term, in the kind of more the technical sense, just to the different experiences that people were having. And it really wasn't until much later, unfortunately, that I really kind of had cognizance of that. But yeah, my upbringing was really great, and America was a place where if you worked hard and you played by the rules
yeah.
and you did the meritocracy thing well, you could succeed, and that was like literally, I remember my mom having conversations with me about, my job is to make a productive citizen of you, and productive citizen, meant you achieve, go to get good grades in high school, you go to a good college, you get a
Mm,
good job, and then you can, kind of give back and have success,
sure.
very much like the 1980s, vision of being a great American, right?
Mm,
And yeah, and I'd say like, and she did that. I think I really loved school because I loved achieving and I was good at it. I didn't love learning until much later, but education was a huge focus growing. And and again, more it was achieving at school than it
mm,
was necessarily like the bigger picture. But um, I think my parents like did the best with what they had, and they both worked really hard and made some really like intentional decisions to
mm,
invest in us growing up. That now, like, being a parent myself, that intentionality gets like more and more pronounced every year, and
mm,
just kind of seeing some of the things that they navigated and tried to set us up to succeed. So
sure.
yeah, I'm very thankful for a lot of my upbringing.
Good.